In this video, I will be showing you how to make a box card. Now, if you're in Cricut Design Space and you click on Images and you go to your image sets, there are box cards in here. You can see here's some box card elements. They give you the main card and then other elements you can add. Or there's this series that has all different themes for the box cards. So you could use one of these, or you can do what I'm going to show you how to do, and that's use the basic dimensions and measurements of a box card template to make your own design. So the overall dimension is 8.5 by 5.5. This can vary a little bit if you want to make them fatter or taller or shorter, but I'm going with the basics, okay? So I started off by placing that whole yellow piece in there, and I'm just going to turn off these other pieces so you can see how this all came together. So after I placed a rectangle, just using my shapes, made it 8.5 by 5.5. Then I looked at this, and each one of these sections is 2 inches big, which would make this corner a 1/2 inch big. So then I could insert another shape of a square, make it 1/2 inch wide, and I had to figure out how tall this portion was. I did find something online that helped me determine that. It is 3 inches in height, so 5.5 minus 3 is 2.5. So then I could make this 2.5 by 1/2 inch. And when this yellow piece was a full piece, I just had this piece in there, attached it, or aligned it, I'm sorry. I went align to the left and align to the top, and then I sliced that piece out to make that little notch. That's how easy that was. So now I have to put these little slits in here, because right here, this is going to cut. So that I went to my shapes, inserted a score line. I made that 2.5. So I'm going to take this score line, and I'm going to go to operation and change it from score to cut, because I need 1, 2, 3 cut lines. I could then take this piece, and I'm going to start off by duplicating it so that I have 3 of them that I can then stack on top of each other. So now, if I take all of this and say align this to the right and align it to the top, you can see those lines are exactly on this edge. Well, since I know each one of these sections is in 2 inches, I just have to move one of those, each one of those 2 inches. So if my X position, which is the position up here, is 17, I would want to move this one 15. And see how it moved it right there? So I already have them in there, but I'm just showing you how I did it instead of recreating the whole thing all over again. So then this one would be 13. And that one would be 11. Okay, so now those score lines that I changed to cut lines would need to land right there. I would then select all of that and hit attach to hold the placement and position of those. So once I have my cut lines attached, I would do the same process, keeping it score lines. And this time I would do 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. The last thing I need to do is do a score line that goes right through here. And you can do that one by aligning it to the top of this score line. Then select everything and click attach. That's going to hold the placement and position of things. This is now your basic base of your card. Now, to create these pieces, I just made rectangles that were 1/4 of an inch smaller each direction. And then for a piece like this, I made the rectangles for the top and bottom, and then I grouped them together. Grouping allows you to have 2 different layers on 2 different colors, but have them work together. So that I made this one and just duplicated it to make this one and this. So now for a box card, you also need this piece. This is going to fold back and forth inside the box, and that's going to be what you attach your different design elements to. This is pretty simple. It's a 8-inch by 1-inch high rectangle. Then you're going to do the same kind of thing with the score lines and place those. So you can see, because it's up above here, it lines up with this first one. So if I put one score line in a 1/2 inch, then I will put another one 2 inches in from that. Then I go a 1/2 inch in from this, because that's going to be a fold for the side. But then once I fold it, you can see it goes another 2 inches, then 1/2 inch, then 2 inches, and then we have a 1/2 inch left at the end. Now you can make pieces like this one here that kind of have legs so that they stand up on these. And some people like to take these and then weld them to this piece. So then it all cuts out as one big thing. The reason I did not do that is because I wanted to be able to use this card base for any card I wanted, and then I can just glue and attach these little legs down behind here. How did I attach the legs? That's a really good question. Okay, so let's go find that same image. There it is. Okay, so here's that same image. And if we look here, there's a layer that's turned off. And that is actually a shadow layer. I am going to change it to a different color just so it shows up better. There. If your piece does not have a shadow layer on it, you could add an offset to create that shadow yourself. So I am going to ungroup this real quick so that I can turn off all of these elements. And then how I attach these little legs is I went to shapes. I grabbed an equal sign. I rotated it 90 degrees. And I'm doing this on a much larger scale than I did for the actual card, but you get the idea. And now I can take those 2 pieces and weld them together. And now when I turn on all the other pieces, and say arrange this to the back. Now I have the saying on legs so that I can attach it in here. I know I went over this kind of quick, but I've been doing a lot of videos about how to use a template that you find online and figure out the math to make your card. So that's why I went a little quicker with this one, because I feel like if you've been following along to my card making challenge, you've seen this process before. So now it's time to hit make it, cut all these elements, and put the card together. I'm going to start with the largest base piece for this card, and you can see that I'm just creasing it on the fold lines until it folds all the way around to make a box. That little flap there is going to glue to the inside, and then all of these flaps will bend down to make the card. Now I'm going to lay it flat and take the pieces that go in the different sections and just put some double sticky tape on the back side and then apply them to the different sections. Before I start to stick the pieces on for the top, I'm going to hold the box and I want you to look at this. When you fold the flap down, you actually want your piece on that side of the flap. So adhere your pieces to the correct side, because otherwise when you bend those flaps down for the card, you're not going to see this pretty cardstock. Now that I have those outside pieces on, I'm going to fold everything up and glue that little notch to the back so that I can form my card. This is a fun little tip that I've done before. I cut these letters out of vinyl, and you can see I layered them on top of each other. But now I want to put them on cardstock. I am going to use some Glad Press and Seal to do this. Make sure you find the side that is stickier and put that down over your vinyl lettering. The reason I'm using press and seal instead of transfer tape is because I want to make sure that when I peel this off, it doesn't rip the cardstock that I'm putting it on. And you'll see that I am going to go and burnish it on both sides. Then I'm actually going to peel the backing away from the vinyl. I think this is what causes a lot of people problems with their vinyl, is they try to peel the press and seal or the transfer tape away and expect that vinyl to stay on there. Peel the backing away. It works so much better. Now I can line this up over my cardstock piece and lay it down. And I didn't like how it lined up, so I'm just going to pull that cardstock off. I can do that because of the press and seal. It doesn't do a hard stick to the cardstock like transfer tape would. And yes, I know there's a big shadow in my video, but it's because I had to lean in because my eyesight is not as good as it used to be to really line things up. Okay, so now I just rub it down, because remember, this is all vinyl, so the back of that is sticky. And now I can peel away the press and seal, but the vinyl stays stuck on there. So this is a nice little crafting tip. Also a great way to use up some permanent vinyl you might have sitting around. Little scraps. You can now use that for your card making. Okay, so now for the inside piece. I kind of accordion folded this back and forth, and I'm going to add some glue and then glue it into the inside of the card. I actually started thinking about this, and I decided to apply all my little pieces and design elements to the folded piece before I put it inside the box. I think this is going to help me kind of look at how it lays out, and then everything will be attached to that one piece, and then I can just slide that right into my box card. I even have some star pieces left over from other projects I've done. So I'm taking some of those, and since the colors work, I'm just going to add them into this design to help give the whole thing more pop and interest. So I went and grabbed some Scotch tape from my home office, and I'm just going to hold these side pieces so that they line up together and put some tape on here. This is going to secure the whole thing so that I can more easily drop it into the box. I'm actually going to start using this little trick for all of my box cards because I found that taping it together like this first really helped to stabilize this inside piece and made it go into the inside of the box card so much easier. It also made it easier to apply that double sticky tape with my tape runner to the sides. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I love to hear from you.